Hello and welcome. Today, we are going to talk about turning messy problems into clear, bulletproof decisions. And look, we're not talking about some dry academic version of critical thinking. Think of it more like a superpower, a step-by-step guide that helps you find clarity in the chaos. So let's dive in. Does this feel familiar? You know, that feeling that you're stuck on a hamster wheel, putting out the exact same fires you were putting out last month or even last year? It is so frustrating, right? And it almost always happens for one reason. We're busy treating the symptoms, but we're completely missing the actual disease. This explainer is all about how to break that cycle for good. Okay, so phase 1 is all about playing detective. It kicks off with a really simple but incredibly powerful idea. The problem you see on the surface is almost never the real problem you need to solve. We've got to dig deeper. And here's the cool part. You've got a toolkit to help you do that digging. You've got things like the 5 whys, which is great for finding the driver behind an issue. You've got root cause analysis for, tracing back the chain of events. And the fishbone diagram is awesome for sorting all the possible causes into different buckets. They're all designed to do one thing: get you past the obvious. Let's make this super practical with the 5 whys. Imagine your problem is the project is behind schedule. Simple enough. Okay, why? Because a key feature is delayed. Why is that delayed? Because the team is waiting on an external component. Why are they waiting? Because the order was placed late. Why was it late? Because the requirements weren't finalized on time. And why not? Because a key stakeholder was never consulted in the first place. And boom. See what just happened? We went from blaming the team for being slow to identifying a major flaw in the planning process. Now that's a problem you can actually solve. So you think you found the root cause. Awesome. But hold on, you're not done yet. Phase 2 is all about building your case. This is where you have to go from, I think this is the problem, to, I can prove this is the problem. And to build that case, we need to be absolutely crystal clear on these 3 little words. An assumption, that's just a belief you haven't proven yet. A fact, that's a statement that you've actually checked against reality. And evidence, well, that's the stuff, the data, the logs, the emails that you use to prove your fact. Nailing these definitions is absolutely crucial. And this right here shows you the difference in a really powerful way. The team is slow is, well, it's just a vague assumption. It's a feeling. But saying Team A's bug fix time went up by 20% right after the last software update, and you've got the system logs to back it up. Now that is a specific, verifiable fact. It's a solid foundation you can actually build a solution on. Of course, your evidence is only as strong as where it came from, so you have to check your sources. Just run through this quick mental checklist. Is this source actually reliable? Is this info truly relevant to my specific problem? Are there any obvious gaps or limitations here? And the big one, can I double-check this with another totally independent source? This simple process keeps your analysis honest and strong. All right, so now we have a clearly defined problem that's backed up by actual evidence. You know what? Finding the solution just got a whole lot easier. This brings us to phase 3. Figuring out the best way to move forward. So what does a good, realistic solution actually look like? Well, first, it has to target the root cause we worked so hard to uncover, not just another symptom. Second, you have to be able to actually do it. You've got the resources, the time, the people. Third, it needs to fit within the rules of your organization. And finally, a pro tip, don't just come up with one idea. Try to generate a few options. Maybe a conservative, safe bet, a really ambitious moonshot, and something that strikes a nice balance right in the middle. Okay, once you've got those options on the table, you need to compare them, but not based on a gut feeling. You do it systematically. You look at each one and ask, how feasible is this, really? What's the potential impact? Is it big or small? What are the risks involved? And, super important, how well does this line up with what the company is actually trying to achieve right now? We're in the home stretch. You've diagnosed the problem, you've gathered your facts, you've weighed your options. Now it's time for the final phase, making the call. And just as important, being ready to justify that decision to anyone who asks. Think of this as your playbook for building a rock-solid argument. First, state your decision clearly and confidently. Then, connect the dots. Show exactly how it lines up with those evaluation criteria we just talked about. Explain the cause and effect. If we do X, then we expect Y to happen, because of Z. Then, get ahead of the game and address the obvious objections before anyone else can. And finally, just close the loop and summarize why this is, without a doubt, the smartest path forward. So there you have it. We've walked through the entire process, from that first nagging feeling that something's wrong, all the way to a confident decision. But the real art here isn't just following these steps once. It's about turning this into a habit, a continuous cycle of thinking better and better over time. And the secret to making this a habit, it's this final step that, honestly, almost everyone skips: self-reflection. It's that moment you take after the dust has settled to learn from what you just did, so you're even sharper next time. Instead of just rushing to the next fire, you ask yourself 4 quick questions. First, just review your process. How'd it go? Was your problem definition really as clear as it could have been? Was your evidence solid? Or did you maybe lean a little too hard on a weak piece of data? Second, and this one can be tough, check your bias. Be really honest with yourself. Were there moments where your gut feeling or a preconceived notion might have pulled you away from the hard facts? Third, assess the outcome. Did things actually play out the way you predicted they would? What worked even better than you thought? And what totally caught you by surprise? And finally, pinpoint just one single thing you can do to improve next time. Don't try to boil the ocean. Just find one specific action that will make your process a little bit stronger. That, right there, is how you turn this into a real skill. And that really brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with. This entire process, from start to finish, begins with the simple act of questioning what we just accept as true. So my question for you is, what's one assumption, one unverified belief at work or even in your personal life that you are going to challenge this week? Thanks for watching.